Okay, good evening, everybody. I'd like to call to order the November 19th, 2025 Palisades School District Board of Directors meeting. If we could all stand, and before we salute our flag, I thought we'd just take a minute to just have a brief moment of silence for the passing of the student, Zoe Gorell. As everybody knows, she was a senior here. And I personally didn't know her well, but I know from my daughter that she had a bright light, and she was a very beloved student here. So maybe we could all have just a moment of silence that she may be remembered. Okay, thank you. If we can now salute our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Dina, will you call the roll?
Director Beer. Here. Director Freeman.
Here.
Director Hallowell.
I am here.
Director Landis.
Here.
Director LeBlanc.
Here.
Director Nielsen.
Here.
Director Ott.
Here.
Director Ramos.
Here.
Director Wenhold.
Here.
And Superintendent Dr. O'Connell.
Present.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, by way of announcement, an executive session will be held and is scheduled for this evening following our board meeting to discuss legal and personnel matters. We have no recognitions or presentations this evening, so we will move directly to our committee reports and start with Dr. O'Connell for our superintendent report.
Great, thank you so much. On tonight's agenda, you'll see Stephen Lowery listed on the personnel page for having attained tenure this month. Stephen has served as our elementary and middle school band teacher for the past 3 years. Stephen designed a Meet the Instrument Night for the elementary schools, which has increased student involvement and engagement in the elementary band program, which continues up to the middle school. Stephen is active in the instrumental music program beyond the school day. He plays an important role as the marching band's assistant director and performs in the high school's pit orchestra for the musicals. Additionally, he has supported the Summer Band Opportunities Program for students in grades 5 through 12. During a three-week span, students are able to sign up for individual lessons, and this past year, they were able to participate in a 5th through 12th grade summer concert. More than 70 lessons were given, and almost 30 students were in our summer band concert. From Stephen, our first annual summer band showcase was held on August 8th, featuring summer concert band, and let me start that again. Our first annual summer band showcase was held on August 8th, featuring the summer concert band, the Palisades High School Marching Pirates. Not only was it a blast to see our students continue to be enriched on their instruments over the summer months, but it was a wonderful evening of music and community. Mr. Lowery is here. Yes. Sorry, my reader's on. I need to take him out. He's here. Just wanted to congratulate him and thank him for all that he has done for our Palisades students. Thank you. Congratulations again. Each of our buildings have conducted their annual safety drills between mid-October and early November. Each building conducted their run, hide, fight drill, which is an annual practice to equip our staff and students with tools to respond to situations that require quick action in order to stay safe. During the week of October 13th, an instructional coach from CKLA was in each of our elementary schools to observe lessons and provide feedback to teachers and principals on program implementation. Her feedback was overwhelmingly positive, as was shared at EPS last week. October 13th, the district partnered with CRAF and marked the start of School Bus Safety Week with a visit from Representative Fitzpatrick. It was a great event to highlight the importance of stopping when a bus has its lights flashing and a stop arm extended. October 22nd, this is a comp plan update. On October 22nd, 28 stakeholders came together in the high school library to represent the steering committee. A survey to the community and parents was shared on Friday, October 31st. Employees of Palisades received their survey on November 3rd. And our students in grades 5 through 12 participated in their survey between November 5th and 7th. Surveys closed on November 10th, and our action planning committees are forming and beginning their work to create goals. I think some of them met today. Which is awesome. On October 24th, we hosted the director of Lehigh University Art Galleries, Dr. William Crow, at the high school. He was able to tour the school and check out our art learning spaces, the artwork throughout our hallways, and see the art gallery that Mr. Jones and Mrs. Sunday have curated with their students' artwork. We look forward to learning about additional opportunities to support our students in the visual arts. I think you can hear me better when I'm actually talking into the mic. But Drug Take Back was on Saturday, October 25th at Springfield Elementary School. That was the location for residents to hand in drugs they no longer are needed or past expiration. Through this Drug Take Back event, 40 pounds of drugs were collected. Next year, in future years, the Drug Take Back event will be held at the Springfield Township Municipal Building, and residents can drop off unused prescriptions at the permanent Drug Take Back box in the vestibule of the police station. That's by the flagpole entrance. Palisades School District is once again featured on the Great PA Schools website. As you recall, in September, we were featured for the book vending machine at Springfield Elementary School. And this month, the Palisades Pirates Pier Cafe was featured as a video spotlight on the Great PA Schools website. So check it out if you haven't seen it yet. On October 28th, I held our quarterly SPLC meeting, which is a group made up of officers of PTA and PTO organizations in each of our buildings. For this meeting, a middle school student, Bodhi Curran, highlighted the work occurring at POMS for No Place for Hate. Then we discussed comprehensive plan, curriculum implementation at the elementary level, athletics, and PCF provided an update on the Harlem Wizards, the annual coat drive, and the annual holiday giving tree, and the pirate ship. Stay tuned for more updates on fundraisers to save our ship. On November 7th, Representative Stats hosted the Veterans Day program at Palisades High School this year. The event included our Upper Bucks veterans and middle school students from each of our Upper Bucks each of our schools. And this included remarks of appreciation and the singing of patriotic songs. The program was followed by lunch in the Gold Gym for our veterans. It was a wonderful event if you were able to attend. The Harlem Wizards game was held on Monday, November 10th, and it was a really fun community event. I'd like to thank the following faculty and staff for showing their basketball skills against the Wizards, including Amber Schlosser, Lindsay Frenetti, Allison Doward, Rob Alkus, Scott Gaughan, Amy Gerhardt, Rich Spearing, Mark and Shauna Chilton, Kayleen Ponak, Jessica Kressler, Jamie Guthier, Jessica Offner, Danny Yashinsky, and Chris Burrier, and Brian Gilbert for being my co-coach for this event. And that concludes my report.
Thank you so much, and congratulations, Mr. Lowry. The best part of the presentations is that you get to show up, get honored, and you get to leave right away. It's often the best part for our teachers, but we congratulate you. We always say that Palisades punches above our weight in sports, but our band program is no different, and he has certainly grown it to something that we can all be proud of, so we appreciate that. We will turn it over to our other superstars here. Who do I have? I think Lucy, Joey, and Felicity. Tell us what's going on.
Hi, I'm Lucy Stevens, and I'm the senior class president.
Hello, I'm Felicity Howlett. I'm the executive vice president, and I'm a junior.
I am Joseph Lipton. I'm the junior class president.
So we have a lot of events going on at the high school this month. So a few highlights: we're hosting our unified strength and lifting competition last week. We were one of 2 schools in PA to host this type of event. Our team came in second. Some other schools that attended were Souderton, Penn Ridge, Pennsbury, and a few others. Our fall play, Peter and the Starcatcher, just concluded. It was performed on November 7th and 8th. We had an amazing crowd both nights. This was led by Mr. Hong and our student leaders, William Zaleski, Nathan Clapp, Luke Rubo, Ilaria LeBlanc, Michaela Irvine, Ryan Metz, and Liv Bellis. The marching band just had their Cavalcade championships. Our team scored 5 points higher than last year, which is very good. They credit their amazing directors, Mr. Westenberger and Mr. Lowry, and the increase in band participation. Our choir club hosted its annual Fall Coffee House this month, and over 20 students performed this year. It had an amazing turnout and great acts. And finally, the Macbeth play by Will Power for the Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival will be on Friday. All juniors, seniors, and theater students will be able to watch this performance.
As for the middle school, they just had their school-wide positive behavioral interventions and support celebration last week. Their musical, Oklahoma, is in the works and will open on January 29th and run until the 31st. Their winter sports have also begun, along with building clubs. They've also hosted a Veterans Day celebration at PHS, which turned out amazing.
And at the elementary schools, Tinicum had a very successful fall back book fair from November 5th to the 7th. They would like to thank their wonderful PTA for organizing and supporting this event. Their hard work and dedication made it a great experience for Tinicum students and families. Springfield is looking forward to the Coco and Cozy Holiday Shop on December 2nd, 3rd, and the morning of the 4th. All classes are scheduled to attend, and students are excited about purchasing holiday gifts for their families and friends. And at Durham Knox, students enjoyed bringing their veterans in last Tuesday, the 11th, to celebrate and give thanks for their service. Students also look forward to a visit from the middle school's National Honor Society, also on the 11th, where students will share a story and participate in a connected activity around gratitude and being thankful. Finally, parent-teacher conferences for the first trimester will continue on the evenings of the 24th and the 25th. Thank you.
Great job, guys. Thank you so much. All right, moving on to our committee reports. Dr. Ott, let's start with extracurricular.
The extracurricular meeting will be December 3rd. We'll get a wrap up of the fall sports and a preview of winter.
Okay, sounds great. Moving to Director Freeman for our Education Programs and Services Committee report.
Okay, our November EPS meeting took place last Wednesday evening. Mrs. Colley and Mr. Davis began by reviewing the successful progress made with the implementation of our new elementary reading and language arts program. The coach from the vendor was very impressed with the work that our teachers and students are doing. After that, we heard from teachers at the high school about several things. Mr. Chilton shared information about the semi-annual AP Bio trip and the request for this experience, which is on tonight's agenda with recommended approval. Mrs. Rugel and Mrs. Timochenko from the business department provided some updates to courses in their department, as well as requests to add 2 new courses, an AP Business Principles and Personal Finance and an AP Cybersecurity. And additionally, Mrs. Sunday presented her request to add AP 3D Art. The committee approved of these courses, and a motion will be on for our next meeting. Dr. O'Connell and Mr. Heffernan provided information regarding credit attainment for some juniors and seniors who also attend the technical school as part of their program. A temporary solution to support those students is on tonight's agenda as a motion to modify credit requirements for those students. And going forward, Dr. O'Connell, Mr. Heffernan, and Dr. Donnelly will partner with the other 2 sending districts and the technical school to work through options to support our students to find success at both high school and the technical school. Finally, Dr. Donnelly provided a brief update on the work being done with the comprehensive plan, as well as shared some exciting information of the announcement that Mr. Fidel and one of his students were published in a national journal of peer-reviewed articles about science and hands-on learning. So congratulations and kudos to them. And our next meeting is on January 14th at 6:30, and everyone is welcome.
Thank you so much. Moving on to Director Monroe.
Good evening, everyone. We had our Fiscal Oversight Committee on this Monday at 9 a.m. Our topics we discussed, the first one being Spyglass. Spyglass is an audit company that audits our telecom voice data to see if they can save us any money. There's no cost for us. They do get a percentage of the savings of what we get any. Chris, did I miss anything else on that?
No.
No, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Pending our solicitor's review, we'll probably go forward with them. Our second topic here was PESPA, third-party vendor memorandum of understanding. If you all recall, last year we used these services as well, and it's the memorandum addresses the needs for Palisades School District to fill any highly qualified instructional assistant, paraprofessional, or personal care assistant that is unfilled. We are recommending approval again for this MOU. We reviewed the financial reports. Nothing glaring came out and struck us in the face, all right? And we had a few budget transfers that happened in the last period. Our prior month expenditures to date summary as of October, our percentage of budget spent so far is 24.27%. For a total of $13,897,615. The average is 26.27% at this time, so we're just below the average. We had a budget development, let's see, and we have a preview for our budget development on Monday, Chris? So we should see that on Monday for 26-27 budget preview. We also had the state budget review. Would you like to fill us in on that, Nate?
So I'm happy to report that we have a state budget. There were also items that were included in the school code that the district needs to be aware of. We're very excited about cyber charter reform that has been included in the state budget, and I'm sorry, not in the state budget, in the school code. Some of those requirements include cyber charters putting eyes on their students at least once a week. So that means camera on. I can see the student that I'm working with. So that we're really excited about that as far as student well-being. And also residency requirements regarding cyber charter schools. So there will be a routine and regular proof of residency for our cyber charters so that we get that information. What would happen in the past is that if a student claimed residency, they would maintain wherever they were for, there weren't additional checks. As we know, students move, families move. So this is a big win. For us, I would say, to help us make that process a little bit easier. That area in particular was one that we've been advocating for quite some time. So I'd like to, thank our local legislators, Craig Stats and Shelby Labs, for supporting those changes as they did. So as far as all the details of the budget, I don't have that handy, but we'll send that out.
Thank you very much for
Thank
that,
you.
Dr. O'Connell. We had our right to know request report, and we had our monthly economic update. 0 public comments. Our next meeting is Monday? December 1st. Come on down and join us. Evening meeting, 6 p.m. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. And we're going to pretend like we didn't make a mistake and double back to Dr. Ott with Buildings and Grounds.
Buildings and Grounds met in November. We discussed the 10,000 Flowers project at Springfield Elementary. It's painting a wall, a mural of flowers. It's going to be done by the 4th and 5th grade on that wing. There's no cost to the district. So the committee recommended going ahead with that project. Mr. Davis, do you want to say anything about it?
He wasn't able to join us this
Was it-
evening,
Okay,
but it looks like a great project.
yeah. We discussed the high school lighting. Gary is going to reach out to Blue Chip Sound and Light. They're the company that comes in and sets up when we have plays to get an idea of what we can fund in-house and get the high school taken care of. We discussed RFPs for going out, and we set a threshold of if we feel the project will be under 750,000, we can use one of the engineering companies that we've worked with in the past. Over $750K, it'll go out to RFP. Al talked about the treatment plant. The culvert is nearing completion, and what?
Should be done by now, right?
It's complete? Okay. Site visit for the Palms Auditorium from KCBA took place, and we'll get a report at the next meeting. The Durham Knox generator is going out for bid. Did it? Not yet, okay. The warehouse van was delayed due to lack of parts. So when everything comes together, we'll get the van. And the pole building is waiting for plantings to take place before we can get our occupational permit. Next meeting will be December 3rd.
I have a quick question,
Yeah.
Dr. Are we responsible for the planting?
Yes.
Thank you.
So I don't know if this is out of line or not out of line. Do we have a status report on whether Mr. Adams was able to contact Blue Chip, or is that something that we should wait for?
Yeah, we'll be able to give an update at our next Buildings and
next meeting.
Grounds
Okay.
on December
On
3rd.
December
But he
3rd.
has, and we have an update, so
Okay,
we'll be able to share that. Thank you.
thanks.
Okay, moving on to our policy committee report. I'll report out loosely from two meetings. So going back to our November 19th, 2025 meeting, as you'll recall, we tried very hard, or Dina tried really hard to get us to focus on maintenance review of our 100 series, many of which hadn't been reviewed in 4 or 5 years. So we did go through that. And as part of that, a number of policies were marked without revision and moved on automatically. But we do have a few policies up tonight for first read. That's 122 extracurricular activities. Nope, that's not tonight. We have that one. We reviewed that again tonight. That is not up for first read tonight. 123 interscholastic athletics is up for a first read with edits that were recommended by the PSBA, and policy 209.2, which is diabetes management, which also had a number of recommendations from the PSBA, are up for a first read tonight. And then at that meeting, we continued to a section 100 review. Then we met again this evening at 5:30 and continued that 100 series review, but also pulled our public comment policy. So just so the board is aware, the policy committee has opted to pull that policy to take a look specifically at the group, what I'll call group presentation / group comment policy. As you all aware, we amended the policy earlier this year, maybe the end of last year, to give some flexibility, which we've had in policy for some time, to groups that wanted to come together and amalgamate their time for presentation purposes. We thought that was a wise idea, but didn't really put a lot of parentheses around the who, what, when, and where. And as a result of last meeting, you'll recall that we had somebody make a representation about a topic of presentation, but that was not indeed what was presented on. So we are revisiting that policy, haven't landed on anything specific, but really trying to carve out the rules for the road that there. So there is no ambiguity for the board and no ambiguity for the public moving forward. We will continue to report back just so the board is kind of aware of what those rules of the road are as we draft them, but that's probably going to take us another couple meetings. We are also actively discussing 104, 106, 107, and 108, which are really the board's interaction with our plain course statements, our review of textbooks and curriculum materials. We made good progress. I think two of those policies are in good shape. One of them we had continued questions about, so we will report back about those as we go. But we continue to do that work. And I think that's it. Our next meeting isn't until February of 2026, unless Dina tells us we have more work to do. Okay. Moving on then to our Upper Bucks County Joint, our Tech School Operating Committee report.
Okay, Thursday, October 15th was the regularly scheduled JOC meeting along with the Policy and Program Committee meetings. The articles along with the Facilities and Finance Committee meetings were held on Thursday, November the 6th. The Articles Committee completed the review of the articles and the revisions, and those revisions have been handed off to our solicitor for review and finalization. They will then be forwarded to all three of the district boards for a vote to approve. Our Facilities and Finance Committee meeting had an update from SiteLogic with a review of the 5-year plan. We also had a presentation by NRG for our electricity rates. And I believe Palisades has benefited by contracting with NRG in the past, and I believe we actually got money from them. So we're kind of hoping that the tech school will benefit as well. We also discussed the addition of a carport for the fire engine. However, we're going to be putting that on hold for a later discussion as there might be some updates on that. Another item on the agenda was the presentation of the 23-24 audit completion. A representative from CLA LLP was there to give us the overview. Items for board discussion at the board meeting included an update of a very successful CTE Expo, which was held on October 9th. We also had 140 meal preps go out to needy families through the UBCTS school-wide food drive. On Saturday, Saturday, December the 6th will be the winter breakfast with Santa from 9 to 11 a.m. And Thursday, November the 13th was the open house, and they had over 500 attendees. I think they quit counting at 500 or something, I don't know. But he did know there were over 500 attendees, so we were happy about that. We had a report on the connections made at the Reading Aviation Expo 2025, and the involvement of both our small engine technology and the law enforcement police science instructors highlights how diverse CTE skills can lead to careers within the broad and growing aviation industry, from maintenance to airport security and logistics. And we're looking forward to hearing more on this. And also there was some discussion on drone technology and opportunities in that field as well. As of our meeting last month, we did have 72 students out on co-op, and it's only November. And we're looking forward to hearing more students going out. And we're still very excited to see those UBCTS signs in front of the businesses announcing that they employ a UBCTS student. The next regular JOC board meeting is scheduled for tomorrow evening, November 20th at 7 p.m. in the JOC boardroom. The full agenda is posted on the UBCTS website. Our program committee and policy meetings will begin at 5:45, and that will also be in the JOC boardroom. Our next Facilities and Finance Committee meetings are scheduled for Thursday, December 4th, beginning at 6 p.m. in the JOC boardroom. Thank you very much.
Director Landis, not to put you on the spot, but I know we received quite a few emails over the last, I don't even want to say 24 hours, but the last 6 to 8 hours about ninth graders in the tech school. And to be clear, and I'd like you to confirm that we do have a vote tonight about tech school graduation requirements, but there is no vote, there's nothing on the agenda tonight involving ninth graders at the tech school. So just to be clear that that is not on the agenda tonight. I do, if anybody's here that emailed or is listening that emailed, I do apologize. I did not get a chance to respond to anybody today. I know Dr. O'Connell sent some more information out. And once we have a time to kind of get through this meeting and digest, certainly we're happy to respond to those stakeholders, parents. I don't even know if they're Palisades parents or not at this point, but I know some of them are. So happy to respond to those questions and concerns as we go. But there is nothing happening tonight with respect to that. So no worries there that there's a vote tonight that you have to be worried about. Anybody else on that? All right, moving to Director Hollowell on our Bucks County Intermediate Unit report.
The IU Board of Directors met last evening. The meeting was held down at, I guess you call it Levittown, at the new building that they have acquired. It's the old Pearl S. Buck Elementary building. It's very impressive. They have 27 classrooms, and they were thinking they'd have 10 or so filled by now, but they have 24 filled by now. It's a very comprehensive program for our special needs students. A lot of teachers, a lot of staff. It's very impressive. Regular business happened. One of the items was the approval of the purchase of another building, or at least the rental of another building farther down south to handle some more students. The IU is able to fill any spaces they can get. So that was last evening. The next meeting won't be until February or January.
Next year. Okay, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Hollowell? Seeing none, we'll move to our PSBA liaison report.
I believe it's me.
Okay,
Is it me? Okay.
Betsy's going to let you do it regardless.
The big news, as Bridget shared, is the passing of the PA state budget and seeing finally some dollars coming in from the state. And PSBA will be holding a board officers workshop designed specifically for school board leadership and those aspiring to leadership positions. That's going to be held on January 17th, 9 to 11:30 a.m. And pretty sure that's going to be virtual. And the registration is open on mypsba.org. And a reminder to those of us that are reelected to the school board, reelected or reappointed school board directors must complete 3 hours of school director training, which is available through PSBA. Dina was kind enough to send us the email with the dates of training, both in person and virtual. So don't forget about that. And lastly, I recommend, Bridget mentioned the budget and also the cyber information that is going to be new. And on November 12th, we received the legislative report from PSBA. It is a very good report, and it really covers, it gives a lot of information on the cyber, on what is the changes and everything. So if you get a chance, go back and look at that. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Great. When I saw the news, I thought somewhere on this earth, Bob Musantri is smiling about that cyber charter reform. But I do want to just call out Dr. O'Connell's role, especially as to the residency requirements. I'm going to say it was your idea. I don't know if it was your idea, but she worked very closely with our representatives over the past few years. We're always supportive of any Palisades residents that choose anything, any different education for their children. It's a very personal decision, but we were finding folks that our tax dollars were going to that lived in New Jersey, that just simply did not live in the Palisades School District and lived quite far away. So the ability to just make sure that our tax dollars are going to our residents was really an important call out. And she worked carefully to get that through. So between Dr. O'Connell and our state reps, that was, I don't know how it got done, but it got done.
I know Kelly DeBrigna is here too. And she also is a big supporter in that process. So thank you.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. Okay. right. I feel bad. I told Mr. Lowy he could leave after we called him out, so I think that rule applies to you too. Okay. No committee approved expenditures, so we'll move on to public comments about our action agenda item. I do have two this evening. I have Christy Love on our Upper Bucks graduation requirements. Is Christy here? You're good. Okay. All right. You can always email us or talk at the end too. So if we say anything, feel free. Okay. And Joanne Allen is going to wave me off too. I can't see you. Nothing. Okay. I tried. All right. Moving then to our action agenda items for this evening. If I can see them. All right. Action agenda item A. In accordance with Board Policy 006, a motion is in order to approve the consent agenda, which includes the minutes of meetings from October 15th, 2025, our financial reports, and our personnel recommendations, which were revised on Board Docs on the 17th. I need a motion.
Mrs. Saul, make the motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any comments, questions, or concerns?
One note, Elena Steinston is on the personnel recommendation page for coaching, and her father is a district employee as a middle school boys basketball coach.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody else? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. Action agenda item B.
If I may.
No, yes, you may. Sorry,
Sorry.
I knew that.
Sorry to jump in there. The board just approved the retirement of Michelle Fluck, and Marie Colley is here to share a few words about Michelle and wish her all the best.
Hi, everyone.
So yes, I'm here to celebrate Michelle Fluck. She's been employed here in Palisades since 2006, working in the role of an instructional assistant and a PCA. In her time with us, she has supported students in all of our schools K through 8. Although Michelle has only been at Durham for a short time, she is always willing to help where needed and truly enjoys those light bulb moments when working with students. She has an ability to connect with students to help them feel seen and valued. And also, there's always a fun fact about Mrs. Fluck. She is an excellent baker. And so I'm looking forward to tasting some holiday cookies this season. Mrs. Fluck has devoted 20 years nurturing and caring for our students here in the Palisades School District. And so please join me in congratulating and wishing her all the best in her retirement.
Thank you so much. And on behalf of the board, we do wish her all of the best and thank her for her service to Palisades. I always say it's a choice to work here, and we appreciate that choice and celebrate those years here. Okay, moving on then to action agenda item B. In accordance with Board Policy 121, a motion is in order to approve an overnight trip for PHS AP Bio students to participate in the Echo Trek trip to the Virgin Islands, January 16th to 22nd, 2026. The trip was discussed at the EPS committee meeting on November 12th, 2025, and the committee is recommending approval. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. To have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any comments, questions, or concerns? Anybody want to go on the trip with the students? Seeing none, I'll go. We'll move to vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries 9-0. Action agenda item C. A motion is in order to approve the PESPA third-party vendor memorandum of understanding that addresses the need for Palisades School District to fill any highly qualified instructional assistant / paraprofessional or personal care assistant position that is unfilled. The MOU was reviewed by the Fiscal Oversight Committee at the November 17th, 2025 meeting, and the committee is recommending approval. I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. To have a second.
I'll second.
Perfect. Any questions or concerns?
Thank you.
So when we have a need for an instructional assistant or a personal care assistant, we work very hard to try to hire someone for that role.
Right.
In the event we're not able to hire someone internally, we can use, this would allow us to use a third-party vendor until such time that we are able to hire someone. So we're always trying to hire our own, but when we're not able to do that, in some cases, we may need to use a third-party vendor.
So it's not addressing a specific instance. This is just in case.
We will likely need to use this as soon as the board takes it under consideration. So we do have this need right now.
Okay, that was my question.
And there's a time limit to it. So this is the same MOU that was approved last spring. That one expired. And so this one is the same one that was decided on then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, any more questions? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. Action agenda item D. A motion is in order to approve the agreement between the Palisades School District and the Spyglass Group LLC to analyze its primary telecommunications service accounts to seek cost recovery, service elimination, and cost reduction recommendations. The agreement was reviewed by the Fiscal Oversight Committee at the November 17th, 2025 meeting, and the committee is recommending approval pending solicitor review. I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. To have a second.
I'll second.
Okay, any questions? I think Director Ramos covered this in his report. Okay, seeing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. Action agenda item E. A motion is in order to approve a temporary exception to policy 217 graduation to apply a 1 credit reduction to graduation requirements for identified seniors and juniors who also attend the Upper Bucks County Technical School. This was discussed at the EPS committee meeting on November 12, 2025. The committee is recommending approval. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. I need a second.
I'll second.
Okay. Any comments, questions, concerns?
I'm happy to just chime in if you want me to, just what this actually does.
I think that would be helpful.
Okay, great. So currently our technical school students need 3 credits of math and 3 credits of science and 1 of either one of those. So 1 additional math or 1 additional science. What we have found as we're monitoring our students that attended the technical school starting in freshman year, some of them are running into credit deficiencies that risk whether they're able to graduate with their peers in 4 years. Students that attend as freshmen do not have any room in their schedule, let's say, if they are not successful in a class. So this motion, what you're considering this evening, is a temporary reduction in credit requirements of that area. So that will assist our students until we're able to talk through a bunch of other different recommendations, suggestions that'll take a lot more conversation. This motion is just that one item as far as that additional math or science.
So I don't know if anybody else has a question. Sorry that I just jumped right in here. When were you first aware that this was happening? Like,
So we were aware that this was a distinct possibility before our 9th graders started attending the technical school. So when we look at those presentations, this was a concern. It was a concern because if a student either is unsuccessful, they fail, or they get a no credit and don't take summer school classes, then there was a distinct possibility that they were going to run it. There was not a distinct possibility that we're going to run into some concerns. In addition, with an additional financial literacy requirement that we have. Great requirement. It's a 0.5 credit. Our technical school students have additional credit requirements than what will fit in their schedule. So they need to take one PE online, one health online, or one financial literacy online. Not all of our students that attend in ninth grade are running into credit deficiency issues, but there are some.
So is
each
this,
year-
oh, so go
So
ahead.
we monitor that. So when we're looking at our current, at the end of sophomore year, so that's why this covers juniors and seniors, those are the students that we were identifying not being able to graduate with their cohort. We currently have freshmen and, freshmen, we don't have that data yet. We currently have sophomores that we're monitoring, which is why part of our conversation was whether students would need to come back for some portion of either their junior or senior year to make up those credits.
So this is the first class that we're running into this since.
So our
because-
current seniors, there was one class, so our current seniors, so last year's senior class, that was the first year that students could attend as freshmen, but there were very few of them that went that first year, and the momentum kept building, so we were up to about, 25 students per class that attend as freshmen.
So though this was a possible
Mm-hmm.
scenario and concern of yours, even before it was voted on to approve this,
Sure.
at what point were parents notified that this deficiency was there?
I would say at the end of each year, they would be aware that they haven't met their credit requirements. I mean, each year there's progress reports that go out, there's marking period reports, semester reports, and then end of year reports to indicate credit attainment and then
Mhm.
grades on each of those courses. So if a student's not successful, and we talked about this at programs and services, but a no credit would mean that they attained enough of the content to, if they attended summer school, get credit for the course. If a student fell below a certain amount, I think it's 55, that their understanding and meeting those standards in those courses are such that they need to repeat the course.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
if a student is in an area to be able to make up the course over the summer and they choose not to do that, then it becomes you need to retake the course because they don't have credit.
Mhm. So has there been, like, this was just shared last Wednesday.
Correct.
So has there been consideration to options where we can potentially help these students meet these credits?
Well, that would be through credit recovery over the summer or repeating the class, repeating the course. So
Okay, so potentially at the seniors, we may not be able to help, but we may be able to help the juniors if we have more conversation around other alternatives to that.
I think there's a lot of conversation that needs to occur around everything that we're discussing right now. So I'm not quite sure
Hmm.
in your statement.
Well, so my concern, and I believe, others can chime in if this is also their concern. Though I don't fully, well, let me ask you another question.
Sure.
So how long has our graduation requirements been in place? Because we have
At
what?
24 and a half?
24 and a half, right? So how long has that been in place?
Oh, I'm trying to think when we added 0.5 financial literacy, I'm not quite sure if that was the 24 and a half that we're talking about, or we just adjusted or changed those requirements. So at least 5 years, unless you need a specific answer, I'm going to need
Well,
to get back to you.
no, just a ballpark is fine. Okay, so possibly 5 years. That's interesting. So, okay, so I agree that there's a lot of conversation that needs to happen. What is the last possible date that this decision would need to be made in order for you to feel comfortable taking whatever steps are necessary to do whatever it is you need to do? Like, what made you choose now to bring this? for a vote?
So we start rolling into
Course selection.
course selection in January. I think that's why
Mhm,
now.
mhm. All right. Well, I know I'm concerned about, doing this for these students. I believe the question was asked at EPS about other students, not just tech school students, but other students who may not be meeting requirements and the opportunity they have to add another year if need be. So is your concern that these students aren't going to graduate with their class?
Correct.
But they do have the option to go the other year to get their credit and then graduate?
Absolutely. Our
Okay.
goal is always to make sure students can graduate in 4 years with their peers. If they need additional time, we certainly have students that stay with us for that summer after graduation or the following year, and they'd be considered in our 5-year graduation cohort.
So have parents been asked that question? Do we know? I mean,
I'm
have
not sure
you?
what question you
The,
want me to
the
ask them.
question of whether or not to allow their student to complete the graduation requirements beyond the graduation date. So, in other words, take that additional year if need be to meet the requirements and graduate the next year.
Yeah, so we have students that have an IEP that can stay with us until they're 21, maybe 22, one or the other. So there's a
Mhm.
plan that's in place for students that need additional time.
Mhm.
When we talk with families that their student is credit deficient, we'll talk with them about what additional courses they may need and if they need an additional summer or an additional semester or an additional year. But I would say by and large, parents that have students that could graduate with their 4-year cohort would like to do everything they can to make sure that they can graduate in that year.
Okay, anybody else?
I just want to add one other thing that came over the past 4 years, that PE and health came back to the home district, so we needed to make sure that we work that into their schedule as well. So there were a couple things that happened over the past 4 years that were new.
All right, anybody else?
I have a few questions. So thank you, Dr.
course.
Khan, for sharing that.
Yep.
So I understand that the VOTEC students follow use a construction term here.
Sure.
Critical process, right? They're following a critical track, a path, critical path. So in other words, if they miss a class or get an NC non-complete,
Mhm.
that will void that critical path that they need to be on to graduate on time.
Correct.
Okay, thank you
Yes.
very much. With that being said, do we offer the ability for those students that are attending VOTEC, and by the way, are all of them attending here at the high school, or are they also your homeschoolers?
By and large, it's our students that attend our homeschool. We do, I don't know if we currently have any homeschoolers that attend the technical school. We would. But I'm talking, homeschool students don't graduate on our requirements anyway. So
Got it. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
So the reason why I bring that up was the thought or perhaps the ability to have these students that are requesting a 1 credit. Am I correct in saying that we were looking for a 1 credit?
not necessarily any one credit, and looking at the credits that our students, their freshman year, tend to have the most difficulty with. It is a math or a science. So it wouldn't be any 1 credit requirement. It could be another elective or something. It's those classes specifically during that freshman year that students struggle with the most, quite
Okay.
honestly.
Okay, has there been discussion or talk that they can take a hybridized online course to fulfill that requirement that they received an NC on?
So there is that option for students to take credit recovery if they have an NC.
And are the students that we're discussing here tonight received an NC and that's why they're in a deficit?
It could have been an NC or a complete failure of the class, either
So
one of those.
end or the other.
Correct. Yep.
My concerns are here is that if we allow to do this, then we set a precedence.
Thank you.
And a precedence at this point, we could have other things down the road that might come up. And I'm a little, I know we want to do whatever we can for our students. I understand that. Speaking of my own children, we had to drag some of them across the finish line for classes that they did not like. And we would just sit them down. You got to get it done.
Yep.
And I think our school here in particular, I know our school does here, bends over backwards to work with these students to make sure they complete things on time. Gives them the extra attention, lets them, for lack of better words, give them extra time to finish things. Bend over backwards. We get our students across the finish line. I have 4 children, 2 of them, no problem. The other 2, problem, right? And we would sit them at the table. What's going on here? And we would work with our counselors, very good, our guidance counselors, and say, hey, what's the malfunction? Okay, but I'm concerned, very concerned that we might set a precedence here that might come back and haunt us down the road. And those are my concerns. And those are the reasons why I asked the questions that I did.
All fair. Thank you.
Very much.
The only thing I would respond to that is I too share your concern about reducing these requirements, which is why in our EPS committee meeting, we talked about this motion as a separate motion for 2 years. It's temporary. It's not a permanent change. And there are other discussions that we had regarding our current freshmen and sophomores that are at the technical school and maybe running into credit deficiencies. If the board wanted to take action to reduce credits for all students, that would need to come before the board again to do a complete change of that policy 217. So this motion is a temporary change to that, or just a temporary approach, temporary motion. But I understand.
Apologize because I was looking at 217, and one of the things that struck me here, any changes to graduation requirements must be posted and sent out to all family members. Am I correct? And I read it, I don't know where I read it right here, but it's stuck in my head. So do we need to do that if we make this change?
I mean, I feel like folks are being informed now, but if there's a policy procedural issue that you want to address,
I'm
you're
just-
welcome to, I would say.
I see the policy manual here and it popped me, it's almost
Yeah.
smacked me across the face when I read that one there.
Yeah, so I would say the board can do this, can modify their policy. It's not a permanent change to the policy, which would require board action. As far as notification is concerned, I don't necessarily say that just having it as a motion would be notification, but it could be. I hadn't looked at specifically about
Could I
this
ask a
part of it.
question? Just,
Yeah, of course.
just I'm just looking at the motion itself.
Mhm.
And just to understand a little bit better. So you're applying a 1 credit reduction to graduate requirements for identified
Mhm.
seniors.
Yep.
It's not going to cover, it's not a carte blanche.
That's
It's
correct.
just the identified, and it's the
Correct.
juniors and the seniors.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah,
And I
because
do
the
think that
students
makes
that
a
are,
difference in terms of policy because it is not broadly applicable. This motion is specifically applicable to a group of select students here who are identified in the motion. So I do think, Director Ramos, if we were making a broad change, plus or minus, that absolutely we need to do that. But I think because this is not broadly applicable and it's publicly available, that I feel comfortable moving forward.
and I would say our students that are not at the technical school do have time in their schedule to make up a course that they were not successful in completing. So the issue here is our students that start as freshmen do not have that opportunity. That's the difference between the two.
And this was passed for our solicitor. He reviewed this, and that's okay? He's back there in the
Is he?
corner.
He has not reviewed whether we could do a temporary, I'm trying to think of a temporary exception to this policy. I'm just saying I didn't run it by the solicitor.
All right, Director Freeman's getting ready.
I don't know. I'm listening to what everybody said. I think we covered this really well at the EPS meeting. There was a lot of good discussion. I mean, what this boils down to is we decided to change a policy a handful of years ago because there were some students that wanted to start in ninth grade. And our administration suggested that there could be challenges if we do that, but we wanted to give the kids the option to do it and the parents that they could do it. So we did it. And apparently there's been some students now that it's been sort of the trial run. If I understand properly, last year was the first graduating group and there wasn't this issue. But now the issue has come up. So we as a district have the option of saying, well, you had a rough time. You had opportunities, not many, but you had opportunities. So as a district, we either say you can't graduate with your class, or we say, hey, you know what? We need to take a look at this a little bit further. You have the option. We want to give you the option for the sake of one credit in one of two areas, the option to graduate with your class. You could stay here for another year. That's entirely up to you. But if we don't do this, we're telling these kids, you don't get to graduate with your class. No, for one credit. So I have an issue with that, okay, personally, because I don't feel as though we're setting a precedent. I think that we are using common sense and to do what is best for our students while still giving them all the opportunities. We're not going to force these kids to stay an extra year, okay, to take one more credit. If they want to do that, they can. But I don't want to be in a position to tell a child that we maybe didn't have all the information up front, or we did have the information, but maybe they didn't understand that, you know what I mean? I didn't pass this class, and all of a sudden now they're in their junior, senior year and realize that it's a problem. So I don't see the big issue here. I commend our administration for looking at it and the other sending districts, and that they're going to pull their heads together so that we can come up with long-term solutions so that we're not doing this again next year or the year after. But this to me is what common sense governing does and looks like.
I'll just go back to a comment I made at EPS meeting, and I'll suggest that I would like the board to reevaluate our requirements for those graduation credits for our tech school students, because I do believe that these students are utilizing math and science skills in a different way, and they don't get credit for that in the fields that they are in. So I'll say that. And I also want to go back and look at scheduling.
Okay, anybody else? All right, I think we're ready to move to vote. All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Sorry, I can't see your thumb, and I don't know if it's up or down. Okay. Any opposed? No. Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. Okay, thank you. All right, moving to action agenda item F. A motion is in order to approve the second read of the following policies. The policies were reviewed at the Policy Committee meeting on September 17th, 2025. The committee is recommending approval. This is 008, Organizational Charts, 918, Title I, Parent Involvement, 103, Academic Standards, and 105, Curriculum. I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. To have a second? Okay, thank you. Any comments, questions, or concerns?
So I had commented at the end of last meeting about a suggestion, and I was serious about it. And I would like to know how others feel about adding a day of remembrance to our school calendar for October 14th to observe and instruct our students in, whether we call it respectful dialogue, Civil Discourse, Freedom of Speech and Conscience Day, to encourage this kind of culture here at Palisades. So if we could add that into that portion that states about requirement to instruct and observe Constitution Day, Arbor Day, Bill of Rights Day, and add that to it. So that would be my comment, and I don't know what to do with that if I say, do we make a motion? No, we have to have discussion.
Let's have
So-
a discussion about it, I think, first. And to give everybody clarity, so this is a paragraph in policy 105.
5, correct.
That carves out, I believe, 3 days of, I'm going to call them days of remembrance. It's not quite worded that way. The only ones that are included in the policies are ones that by statute are
Mhm.
required public school observances.
Mhm.
Right, so there's 3, Arbor Day, we plant trees, Constitution Day and Citizen Day, which we do activities around that, and Bill of Rights, something, I think it's Bill of Rights
Yeah.
Week, but they, in the law itself, we are required to have activities around those. Nothing else is mentioned, so
Mhm.
there are many, many very, very important days of remembrance on the calendar and part of, you know, the US system, the Congress, the presidential declaration, state declarations. So, you know, Holocaust Remembrance Day, there is a Susan B. Anthony Remembrance Day, there's a Pearl Harbor Remembrance. None of those are in the policy. Absolutely none of those are in the policy. Linda's suggesting we edit that list to include something different. That would not be my suggestion, but open it up to the board for further discussion if they'd like to have it.
I'll just, oh, go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, I think that should be brought up at policy committee to add something to a policy. So I wouldn't feel comfortable with the board just doing it without it going through committee.
Well, I think the way that is it Robert's Rules of Order? If we have discussion now and there's a consensus from the board, we could just take this back to a first read. And then,
Well, it
you
gets a
know, it
little
would have
tricky if
to
we
come
wanted
back.
to amend it, or if the board can pass it as it is. The board can send it back to policy. I'd be interested in hearing from Mr. Hollowell, because if the policy committee is not interested in entertaining the idea, then perhaps it should be entertained right here, right now. So,
Mhm.
you know, if there's some degree of support there, that's one thing. If there's not a lot of
Mhm.
support for doing it, again, we are
Mhm.
picking and choosing here on things we want to add. We have it carved out to only what's statutorily mandated. That's it. So, you know, certainly if it goes back to policy, I'm not going to change that stance, but we can have that discussion. So we can kick it back to committee if the board is interested in doing that. But I need to hear from other people.
Well, you asked me, and I'm fine with policy as it is proposed at this point. I don't think it's necessary to add something like that to it. If we choose to highlight a day, we do it anyway through the curriculum, so.
Okay, thank you for that. Anybody else?
The policy provides for, it says including but not limited to. So there's no reason why, as Jim said, that another remembrance can't be added should the administration decide that that was something that needed to be done or wanted to be done.
Anybody else? Okay, it sounds like the direction of travel is to vote on this now. That's not to say, Director Winhold, you can't bring it up in a different, this is a policy discussion as opposed to a, you know, substantive one, but I think we'll move to vote then, seeing no amendments. Okay. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
I oppose policy 105.
Okay, any abstentions? Motion carries 8-1. Action agenda item G. A motion is in order to approve the first read of the following policies. 123, interscholastic athletics, and 209.2, diabetes management. The policies were reviewed at the policy committee meeting on October 15th, 2025, and the committee is recommending approval. I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Okay, any comments, questions, or concerns? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. Okay, moving on then, we rarely have something for discussion, but Director Ramos raised something that the board had some interest in discussing. So Director Ramos, do you mind if I hand you the mic here to talk about the interest of the board to, it says community surveys, that's probably a little vague, but I will let Director Ramos fill in from here.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Director LeBlanc. We've spoke in the springtime. We brought it up a number of different occasions, but looking at a climate survey of our school, our faculty, our community, our stakeholders, an independent third-party survey that would go out and just give us a baseline of where we stand with our district. Before I start on that, I just want to bring up a point. I've asked a couple of board members, do you know where the board has a mission or a vision statement? Dr. Hollowell, could you please point me to that direction? Because I've looked and I have not been able to find a mission and a vision statement. Were you nodding, or were you just in agreement that you knew where their one was at?
I served on the comprehensive plan, and there is something very similar to that on that plan every year.
So on the comprehensive plan, there is a vision, but I'm speaking specifically for the board. A board should always have a mission and a vision statement. And if I may, I'm going to give you an example of one that I found online. Okay.
Saul, one moment. When we had the training, remember we had the 2 pages of that the IU handed to us?
Those were guidelines that the board set for themselves, right? So
But there was no vision.
I don't know that there was a vision statement. It was more,
Okay.
we agree to like each other and things like that. That's
Well, we
a
did-
wild understatement.
We did come up with one thing in that board retreat. We all agreed on transparency. I do recall that. Okay, and so I just want to bring this up because I think it's very important. So the core purpose and guiding principles for serving students, staff, and the community is just an example of a mission statement that a board would have. And as I look around us here, we absolutely do that. We just don't have it in writing. I want to believe we do that, but would love to see something in writing where the rest of the community could see it. They could go to our page, our Palisades School page, and say, what is the board's mission statement? What is the board's vision? That being said, when we go do a climate survey has our vision and mission in there and expresses to the community, are we doing what we stated we were going to do? We set policy as a board. We set what we are informed that we should be doing X, Y, and Z. But are we doing that? And how do we know we're doing that? At any given moment in time, has there been a climate survey that states how we're doing? Give me a checkup. I go to the doctor gives me a checkup. Hey, Saul, you're 30 pounds overweight. Cut back on your carbs. Your cholesterol's a little high. Do something a little different. Run around the track 3 times a week. Okay? I do what I say. He says, and I go back for my next checkup. I'm doing a little bit better. I want to love to see metrics of how we are specifically doing. I've looked in our website. I've looked in different areas. I've sent to all the board members an example of how Philadelphia school system does their climate survey. They send it out to the teachers. They send it out to the staff. Most importantly, they send it out to the students, and they send it out to the parents and stakeholders. They want to know what's going on. We all know that there's difficulties. I have been informed that there's difficulties in the Philadelphia School District. I have a friend that's a teacher there, and God bless her for sending me this climate survey. But it's an anonymous way to see what is going on. And I bring this to the board to have a discussion, a robust discussion with our community our teachers and our staff to see if we can't come up with an anonymous third-party survey that rates how we, the board, are directing and helping our administration do their job. If I looked at the org chart correctly, we are the box at the top. And it all flows, right? So when people bring us the information, we decide, are the decisions we are making right for everyone? I don't know. I hear some people come here. I do get phone calls from the community. I have people texting me and I have people emailing me. So I'm saying to myself, in all my years serving in the military and other businesses, we've always had climate surveys. I'd always had a mission statement. I've always had a vision statement to follow. I'd like the board to come together and start building a mission statement, a vision to share with all here in our community, and then rate us. How are we doing? Give us a climate survey. Anyone?
I'll jump in with just a couple of things. Director Ramos, thank you for that. Take a look at policy 01. Bridget's probably showing it to you. We do annually affirm our principles for governance and leadership. And it has a board member pledge on it that we advocate earnestly, lead responsibly. That's not to say that that's personalized. Certainly that's a PSBA thing that we latch onto. That is our Uber mission statement. To your point, nothing specific to Palisades there, but I would start there. That's policy 011, which I assume Dr. O'Connell just showed you. Though I would ask for a clarification because I think I heard something different than I expected you to say. Are you looking, because we just did the comprehensive plan surveys just went out. I hear a couple things. So a third-party survey, you mentioned all of our different stakeholders, all of which are important clearly. But the survey that you sent around from the Philadelphia School District, which I will note has an entire office dedicated to churning out those statistics, which we won't have. But are you looking for them to rate the board or to give commentary generally? Because the one from Philadelphia is more like, I feel like my child's learning math and things like that, as opposed to a report card on the board specifically.
I think at the end of the day, how a school district is doing is a reflection on the
Okay,
board.
all right. So it's, I understand. So
Okay.
our leadership vis-a-vis what's going on. Okay,
Right.
understood.
And if I may, I'll continue. Some of the questions that from that survey, I'll be real brief with some of the questions that they're asking here. Okay, let's go with family engagement. Okay, here's a great one, right? Teacher survey. During this academic year, how often did you do the following for a typical student? Send emails, newsletters, notes, home telling, parents and guardians that what their children have been learning, contact their parents and guardians about their achievements and successes, contact their parents and guardians when they are struggling academically. I personally know that our teachers and our counselors reach out to at least myself and my wife when our children are faltering. But I don't know if it's everybody, okay? And I don't know if parents are following up with the counselors and or teachers. And what the beauty of this report is they give percentages back of how many people responded. What's the trend there? Do we need to try a different way of communication? That's just an example. Different examples, and I don't know if all the board members were able to read the survey I sent out. Show of hands. Oh, thank you so much. Make me so happy. You all get a candy at the end of the day. Teacher survey. How often the following statements are true about your classroom? My students influence decisions regarding learning activities. My students are interested in what we do in class. I call my students even if they don't volunteer to answer questions. Some of the examples. And then your answers on the right says most or all the time, occasionally, rarely, never.
So could I make a comment?
Yes.
I guess, I mean, I would have absolutely no problem with doing something like this, but I think first of all, we would need to know how it's done, how much it's going to cost, what are the incidentals in it, and how is the information accumulated from the survey. I think if we were presented with that, we might have a better idea on whether or not we'd want to go ahead or do something, have a survey done in a different way. That would be my feeling. I don't know how.
I had the same impression, Director Landis. I think all information is always good information when you're trying to make decisions. So certainly not against it. We don't have anything budgeted for this year, as you know well, probably better than all of us. So, my inclination would be if the board is interested in at least pursuing the general idea is to kick it to fiscal to get some numbers and to get an idea of how this would work and how much it would cost.
Could we do something like an ad hoc where we ask some of the community members to come join us, sit in on a table and like we do with other ad hocs and say, what would be the best way to come about this? Get our stakeholders involved. If other individuals want to come and join us, just have a good discussion about it and get a feeling for where we go and then bring it up. I don't want to jump to fiscal. I'd like to actually discuss it to a point where the people in the community probably have a lot better understanding than I would on this. I just know I've taken many climate surveys in the past, but I would really want to hear the stakeholders involved. I want them to come forward and sit with us or a few of the members of the board and start putting something together. And then we could see how much it would, the bottom line is the
No
dollar sign.
objection, but we're overlapping on a lot of community members doing the same thing for the comp plan survey. So we do quite the same thing for the comp plan. So we have a number of stakeholders that are involved in that process. So, I'm reluctant to do another ad hoc committee. That's not to say that we can't get feedback or do an open meet. There are ways to do it without committeeizing. But again, I think I need to hear a little bit more from the board about the direction of travel.
I'm just wondering if we couldn't work it into the comprehensive plan process. Either, take a little longer or whatever and actually look at the surveys that we do send out.
Yeah, I
And
tried.
yeah.
I sent all the surveys to everybody. Now, it was a quick turnaround time, I will give that. But we tried to flush out all the community surveys that went out. I know I put some feedback in for the different surveys, but all the draft surveys were sent to the board before they went out to the community. And I didn't get any feedback. So that already happened. So that ship has kind of sailed. What was I going to say? I have committed to the board and have asked the administration to give us the raw feedback. So that feedback will come back to us and maybe we can be informed about next steps once we see that feedback. But
Do we have a timeline when we will receive that feedback?
well, the survey's closed. I didn't check with Dr. O'Connell.
Yeah, it just closed.
Yeah.
What is today?
Yeah.
Maybe late last week.
The 10th.
Yeah.
So do we know how long it will take to get
I don't
that
have a
back?
date or a time
Did-
for you at this point.
No.
I mean,
Yeah,
I can't
I
say
don't-
it'll be turned around tomorrow because I can't commit to that. But
I don't think it will be long. So we're talking raw data, not even raw,
Yeah.
like not processed, not just like what did the commentary come back as? To avoid, make work. I didn't want to give them any more work because all of the comp
Mhm.
plan select committee, so the academic committee is now meeting. So there's people already focused on that feedback to go out and make a plan on the basis of the feedback. But I thought it was good for the board to see the raw input, all the raw answers, so that we get to see them.
But Sylvia, I think the comp plan survey is very different from what Saul is, at least from the survey, the sample that you had sent out. I mean, it was more in depth and.
Yeah, absolutely. And
yeah.
ours was focused on the 3 pillars. So
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I tried to incorporate as much as we could, but I didn't get any other feedback, didn't get that in time. So it is what it is.
Mhm.
When each of the comp plan groups, the academic, whatever, they will meet again and go over that data.
Yeah.
When is that going to happen?
I think one today. Dr. O'Connell said, I'm not on the Little Committee, so I'm not quite sure.
Tomorrow's the academic.
Tomorrow's the academic,
So-
imminently.
So
Yeah.
that data is back.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just came back, so it just hasn't been compiled in a way that it can be emailed to us, but forthwith it will be.
Well, I think I would be in favor of creating that ad hoc committee and getting input from families and community, because I do see it as being very different than the comp plan in the content, and trying to figure out where we would want that to go and look like, and then pursue costs involved and things like that, because I do think the anonymous piece of it is significant. That is important. What the survey that goes out for the comp plan is not truly anonymous. So I think that can hinder responses to that, in my opinion.
I don't
So-
want to crush, it is anonymous. So is somewhere in the Palisades ecosystem, it is recorded who, so at some, but I don't want you to scare people to not answer it. It is anonymous. Nobody's checking, that is not the intention. The intention of our comp plan survey is to be anonymous.
Okay, but with.
It is on our system because it's sent through
Right.
whatever.
But purpose being then, though, what we're looking for needs to be truly anonymous, in my opinion. So that's why I would be in favor of doing this.
I thank you for your time.
So I guess I mean, I'm always open for the more information, the better. I guess I'm not quite clear what the structure and anticipated outcome would be with like an ad hoc committee. Is it to develop questions? Would it be to determine whether we think the survey is needed to begin with? I guess that's my question. I'm just not quite sure what the committee's focus would be.
And if we hire somebody, they probably know the question. I mean, that's not to say that we wouldn't get feedback around a draft, but if I pay money for somebody to develop a survey, they should develop the survey for us.
Right, Scott, if I can answer your question, I would think, I think the pointing in the direction of the questions that would be asked would probably be more in line with what I was looking for. I don't know what I don't know, right? And when you have a group of people together and all of a sudden one person just says one particular thing, it's like, I never thought of that. I never thought of that. And sometimes you get the people that are most interested will come out, like any committee that we have here. And it's how we pose it, what we're trying to achieve here. And just like Director LeBlanc just stated, we're going to pay someone to do the survey. They're going to have everything in their database. How do we select the questions that they're offering to us?
So I think with that in mind, I sort of agree that I think it's sort of a fiscal item first, because number one, we'd have to see what the costs are to run this, what options are out there. And if there's companies that do this, they probably have samples, sample questions and so forth already. And then it would seem to make sense if, as at least the fiscal committee decided that this was something financially to do, then it would seem as though you create that ad hoc committee, because now you've got something that you're working towards. You maybe have sample questions and so forth. Because I also wouldn't want to have a group of stakeholders come together, start completely from scratch, or just taking that Philadelphia survey and then, putting a lot of time and energy, putting questions together. And then we go and decide, oh, well, this is going to cost us $20,000 to do, and we don't really think we want to do it. Then you just enchanted all those people that volunteered their time to do the work. So anyway, that's just my thought, spitballing it right now.
I tend to agree. And if the anonymity is part of the concern, so that somebody wouldn't necessarily, respond to the comp plan survey because they were concerned about anonymity, they're not going to show up to tell us to ask the question that they need to be asked to give us the response. So I think if it's a third party approach and we want to pay for it, then the third party needs to be the buffer as opposed to just us for questions. That doesn't mean we can't get feedback, but it almost destroys the purpose by having that only be the buffer for the questions. But I would agree with Scott. I think this is at first like, is this 3,000? Is this 10,000? Is this 30,000? And then go from there. And then we could decide, is this an ad hoc meeting, or do we have one night and grab some cookies? I heard there's a retired teacher who's a good baker, and go from there. You know,
Is this something that the IU would do? I don't know.
The IU would do anything. And charge.
okay. Well, I think our audience has grown weary here. So I think there's no objection to getting this data, certainly. I think at least I'm hearing some confluence around, let's at least start spitballing to get numbers. But Director Ramos, you and I can talk around timelines and things like that. Anybody else? Okay.
Thank you.
All right. And that's why we don't do discussion often. Sorry, everybody. Okay, moving on then to public comments regarding any other business. Only have Joanne Allen from Nockamixon Township. And
Okay, again, been coming to these meetings for 30-some years. Did none of you live here to get a survey? We've done surveys, 35% return. Cost us what, over $10,000 years ago? Only the people that were angry about something would answer the surveys, mostly. So to me, it was a waste of time, a waste of money. When Tom Free was here, one of our school board directors decided to copy those surveys and send a bunch of negative stuff in, and he had a way of telling, and he got caught. So I don't trust that stuff. I honestly don't. Transparency, Saul. How much more transparent do you need to be? How many people come to our meetings? Now you record them. How many people are watching them? 2, 3, 4. We're spending all this extra money, all this extra equipment, all the extra employees, and nobody's watching them. Nobody's coming. And the only time they come is if there's an issue. And then they're all in your face about what's going on. The elderly people are going to complain about the taxes. Okay? They don't have kids in school. So they're going to complain about the taxes. The younger parents are always going to want something better for your kids. You always do. You have PTA meetings. You have school board meetings. You have committee meetings. They can come to any of them. They choose not to. I don't want to, as a taxpayer, I don't want to spend $10,000, $15,000 on a survey that's going to come back that's not really going to be helpful, in my opinion. I've seen these surveys over the years. They don't work. People don't send them back. So that's that part. The other part is I want to thank our staff, Bridget, everybody for supporting PCF. We probably brought in over $10,000 for the Wizards. So thank you very much.
okay, nobody else signed up, but we will open it up for public comment. Anybody else who'd like to comment this evening? Go ahead.
Kim Barbaro, Nockamixon Township. I wanted to start with the holiday coming up, and I thought we could start with some gratitude. And I just wanted to say I'm really thankful for teachers and staff who, report their concerns within our district for well-being and safety of our students and our community, whether these reports are about a peer, a staff member, a teacher, a security resource officer, a bus driver. It doesn't matter. It takes a lot to stand up. And I do appreciate the presence of see something, say something. It is not just 4 words. It is something that has to be baked into the safety and the culture of safety in our district. I'm grateful for the administrators who listen and act and follow policies to ensure the well-being and safety of our students and our community and our staff. I'm grateful for the legally required confidentiality when you all have to deal with really difficult situations. While it's clear parents get frustrated by that, if anyone's paying attention, it does protect. It protects victims. It protects survivors. It protects innocent people who, there may be challenges until situations are worked out. So it is a protection for all of us. And I think that's really important. I'm grateful for the community members who volunteer their time to work with our administrators as school board directors. So thank you all. I do appreciate, and had a conversation with Cora earlier about it. It's very evident how much work is done here. So I super appreciate that. I know you all are having an executive session after this, and I do want to bring a safety concern. As a parent, it's extremely concerning from a safety standpoint to see a clearly disgruntled former security resource officer who knows all of the safety plan systems and preventative measures for our district. It's disturbing to see them campaign within the community, sow discord, rather than follow appropriate paths to seek an actual resolution for their issue. In a former life, I was an accountant, and I would be assigned to a client. And if that client wanted me switched out, I would not go to that client's customers and start my campaign for a change. I would go to my boss. And you can bet if I did go to those clients, my boss would, number one, hear about it from the client and take disciplinary action with me, and rightfully so. So for me, the fact that this has happened with someone involved at the highest level in our school safety shows a serious lapse in judgment, lack of professionalism, and is indicative in and of itself of a safety concern. I hope for the safety of our community, this issue has been addressed directly with a contractor. If that has not happened, I would request the board and admin do the right thing and address it with the contractor that we are paying. That said, I want to end with a couple shout outs. I want to thank Mr. Blocker, who is my son's PAL teacher, who proactively reached out as early as October and let us know that my son needed advanced math, and went right to it, got our permission, and went at it. So thank you, Mr. Blocker. We appreciate you. And I also wanted to say it's really cool, and I'm grateful to see a lot of the staff and teachers here tonight interacting with our administration. It felt like a family reunion was happening, and all the hugs, and I just thought that was really cool. So thank you. It's good for the community to see that.
Thank you. Okay, I'll keep public comment open. Yes.
So I'm Nancy Overton, live here in Knockmixon. So at the tech school, we did climate surveys quite frequently. And they were a small thing. They weren't a big thing that involved the whole community, but it was an in-house thing to see how the climate was in our school. And they were designed and written by Kathleen Polesnarski. So they didn't cost anything. And it was kind of nice, again, they were anonymous, that we could just say how we thought things were going. Do you feel like your students are getting enough special ed help? Do you think there's adequate resources in counseling? You know, or how clean is your classroom? And just to be able to share that information was great. And they asked questions about everybody. How did they think the administration was? You know, it was like a feedback mechanism for us. And not all the administrators have done it, but when they did it, we really appreciated it. We felt like, you know, they were listening to us. So it doesn't have to be a big expensive thing. And I think it does get quite complicated when you include the public, but it might be nice to have just an in-house one. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, anybody else this evening? Okay, seeing none, we will move to board comments, compliments, and concerns. And I rarely start first, but I will start first this time. Everybody's relieved. So I wanted to take a minute to address our last meeting because I think it was hard on all of us, one person in particular, but my workplace has a little saying. So when you turn on the computer from my workplace, it says always better on screen. And it resonates with me because it's that sort of mindset of continuous improvement that I think I talked to you ad nauseum about, that I like personally and professionally, and I think we resonate with as a board, right? That we love Palisades, we love our teachers, we love our admin. But we can always be better. We can always do things better. I can always be better up here, making mistakes all the time for poor Dr. Ott. We work really hard to be as transparent as we can be, and acknowledge the good, the bad, the indifferent, the ugly, on a constant basis, and we're always striving to do that. And we invite the community to come into that process and really stand behind their right to come in and complain or say wonderful things, and frankly encourage folks to do that, which we rarely get. At our last meeting, we have Rich Heffernan, who is not just a principal, he is a husband, a father, and frankly, a role model for so many kids. And he was subject to unfair and a very personal attack that I have to say, honestly, and I'm a litigator, it caught me, and I think many of us, completely off guard. Personally, it felt so far off the mark of the principles of respect, fairness, and constructive dialogue that I think we all try to have. And I honestly think we have here. Maybe I'm wrong. I think our board recognizes and appreciates feedback, positive, critical feedback, but there is a right way and a wrong way to address concerns. We will, as Director Ramos showed, open every avenue we can for feedback. We welcome it, we'll get it, we will shake you to get it. But we all need to remember that there is so much more power in thoughtful and well-intentioned critique than one that is, feedback that is intended to make things better, not to tear people down and to hurt people. So, to be clear, this board will not hesitate to investigate things, specific incidents against anyone, against me, against Cora, against anybody in this room. Well, maybe not the public, but you know what I mean. We take complaints very, very seriously. But I will say, coming out of last meeting, given the gravity of what was shared, no one, and I want to make this very clear, no one has come forward to support the allegations that were shared that night. Okay? So let's commit to having conversations in a way that promotes growth and understanding and not division and hurt. That is just simply not the way. And I'll probably have a statement at the end too, but with that, I will start with Director Ramos down there.
Thank you very much, Director LeBlanc, for that. Dr. O'Connell, the Veterans Day presentation that was put together, I've been to many of them, but I did grab my wife's arm at one point there. It was very, very moving. And then you bring me something like this. I've been deployed many times, and our children are always the ones that cheer up the vets. And this was very near and dear to me. I just want to say thank you. Thank you very much. Had a great time, enjoyed the music. The trumpeter was amazing, and he played taps. And I don't know if everyone knows about taps, but you played that at the end of the day. And we also played taps when someone has passed away and deceased. It's very, very moving tribute, and thank you.
Yeah, first of all, I want to, and Kim, I thought did this great, give gratitude to this board, number one, for the hard work and variety of, concerns that are brought up. And this is what we do. We have discussions, and we do our best to make sure that we are holding each other accountable and that we're always open to the public. And I have gratitude for the public that is able to come to our meetings and committee meetings and so forth and give their input. It's always welcomed. And especially have gratitude to all of our administration and staff, our teachers, and the entire staff that keeps the school going. There is no one less important position in this school than another, because without any of the pieces, it doesn't work. So for what everybody does in Palisades, greatly appreciative of that. A couple things, Wizards and PCF, is something that to be grateful for, that helps support our community and this school. It's awesome. I was very sad that I had other commitments and could not make the Wizards, but checked out what I could online and so forth. So the play that I was able to make, I won't say too much because I think somebody else may want to have something to say. So I don't want to steal, but always wonderful to see our talented students get out there and enjoy themselves and express themselves. So and the Veterans Day event, I was also able to attend, and that was very moving, as well. So anyway, that's it for me, but thank you very much and have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Well, I'd like to make a comment about the ninth graders in tech school. And Bridget, thank you. You covered that really well. But at our EPS meeting last week, you had shared a document that you put together with the concerns regarding our ninth graders going to tech. And it was very clear that Palisades is not going to disallow ninth graders to attend tech. We voted on that as a board, and I don't believe we're voting on it again to disallow it. However, it did come across pretty clearly, unless I misunderstood, but you did raise concerns about encouraging, you didn't really want to encourage students to attend the ninth grade, to attend tech in ninth grade. And that you felt it didn't necessarily need to be a 4-year program. And it sounds as though the counselors are not going to be encouraging the students to attend tech in ninth grade. And that's certainly, that's up to however that is going to go in the future. So that I'm sure is going to be creating a whole lot more discussion down the road. But I just felt that it was important for parents and students to understand that if they feel that it's really important for their students to attend tech in ninth grade, they do have that opportunity to do so. And it is understood that there may be some issues with accumulating all the needed credits to graduate. And I think that needs to be made really clear. If they're going to attend tech in ninth grade, there may be some issues with getting those credits. So they really need the support of their family, of their parents, and the counselors and here in the district as well. So we need that unified presence to assist our students in that way, to stay on top of attaining those necessary credits. The stories that I've been hearing from tech school students are too important, in my opinion, to ignore. 4-year students are able to get their needed certifications, and they are also able to attain the necessary credits to go out on co-op in 11th grade, which is really important to some of those students. Many of these students are hired by their co-op employers right out of high school. We cannot ignore the needs of our tech school students. And a few years ago, as we voted to enable our ninth graders to attend tech school, and I will continue to stand by that. And I want to see the district do all that it can to make certain that our tech school students are able to attain the needed credits. We really need to support our tech schools students. So thank you. That's it.
On a related stuff, I've been coming to the school board meetings almost as long as Joanne. And I can say that over the years, the board has been dysfunctional at times. The current board is very good about, excuse me, allowing each other to have our say, to get business done and not be, I can't think of the right word, acrimonious, is that the word I want? Nobody's saying bad things about anything else. So we have our opinions, That's good. We express them. That's good. So I'm fine with that.
I think that's the most I've
I have it. I'm all right.
Yeah.
We're almost done.
So Cora, I'll just double everything that you said about tech school. I was also at the Veterans Day program and also appreciate that day very, very much. And I'm thankful I was able to be there. Also grateful for all of our staff and just want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. This day was designated as a day to give thanks to God for his bountiful abundance blessing to us and his protection. And I give him thanks for that and ask him to bless all of us this season. Thank you.
First off, I'd like to thank everybody who went to the tech school open house. There were a lot of people there. And next, about the ninth graders in tech school, I don't think the administration is going to disparage all the ninth graders. I think from what I got from the discussion was, if students are seen coming from the 8th grade to the 9th grade and the counselors think they might need extra help, they're going to discuss with the student and the parent to, it might be good to put off tech school for a year, but it's not going to be blanketed to everybody. It's going to be specific students who might need extra help. So that's what I took from it.
I went back
So-
and listened to the, I went back and listened to the recording of that. Maybe I'm projecting, I don't know, but that is what I heard. So,
Okay,
just saying.
that's not what I heard,
Okay.
or not how I understood what the administration was relaying to us. So that's it.
Regardless, I wanted it to be made clear that we're not.
No, we're not disallowing.
Okay, thank you. I was grateful to hear that it was such a success for the Wizards. Jim and I were there, and we enjoyed the evening very much. Very loud, and the kids just had an amazing time. You saw those kids out on the floor and dancing and singing, and it was just a really, really fun community event. So thank you, PCF. As Saul was talking about the survey, I thought, and about mission and vision, and I thought about the school district's mission statement and wondered, because I know it's been probably upgraded and revised and changed over the years, but where that statement came from, did it come from a comprehensive plan? Did it come from a community group or collaboration to be developed? Because truly, I see that vision statement as maybe not the board specifically, but what the board is responsible to maintain. And so to me, when you said mission, I was like, oh yeah, there's a mission statement, because that's truly what I see our job and our responsibility. So that's all.
Oh, I get to be last. Ooh. So we talked a lot tonight about transparency, and I really appreciate that. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to be on the board, because I want to hear from the community. I want the community to come and tell us what they think, what they believe. I want open-mindedness and people to say what they think. I mean, I definitely am that type of personality. My husband calls me the family flamethrower, which is not a good thing. But what happened at the last board meeting was not okay. It was not okay. Should not have happened. And what I want the public to understand is, I know sometimes they're like, well, why board aren't you saying anything? Well, sometimes it's because we're taken aback too. And I think that's really what happened at the last meeting. Sometimes there's things we can't say and comment on, But, nevertheless, we want to hear from people, but we want it done in the right way. And then I know I've said this several times, I'm going to say it again. If we can all do the right thing on social media, I think that would be really helpful as well. So have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Okay, thank you, thank you. You won't get the last because I will force myself right back in. And to your point, certainly there are First Amendment issues, and the First Amendment is a fickle mistress. Just when you think she's your friend, she bites you. We've all learned that one way or another. But I have a number of just shout outs that I'd like to end with. First of all, I'd like to thank Director Nielsen. I don't know that everybody knows, but she has attended so many school events that more than I do. And I have kids in the school, and I am so overwhelmed by it and so touched by it because I think it's such an important part of our culture to have you there. And she's so stealth that she was sitting behind me at one of our soccer games, and she was wrapped up in so many things I didn't even recognize her, which was really quite embarrassing. But it's so important for our decision making to be present for the kids and in these different things that we all do. So I really appreciate you being there for all these things. I think it's great. Certainly Peter and the Starcatchers, because my daughter's probably listening and waiting for me to say something. So it's no secret that I am a fan of the music department and our theatrical and drama department. But what touches me most about the programming in the fall is that it's student-led. So the children cast it. They were meeting. My daughter was one of the producer, I think. I'm going to mess it up. But they started meeting over the summer and started to triangulate. And it's such a joyous thing to watch these kids, now teens, now young adults, really grow into those leadership roles. The teachers get to see it all the time, but we get like little bits and pieces of it outside of our own kids. So just an absolutely wonderful experience. So thank you to the district for providing that, and certainly to Mr. Hong and all of the staff and administrators that help with that. A quick reminder about parent-teacher meetings. I know it's my drumbeat, and I have a number of teachers. One even asked Nico why I'm coming next week, but I really so strongly believe in parent-teacher meetings. It's such a great opportunity. Your child doesn't have to be doing poorly to go to a parent-teacher meeting and to sign up and just ask how things. I say it all the time. I learn something new about my kids every time I show up for one of those meetings. Sometimes good, sometimes not so good, but it's really a rewarding experience. And I've checked the schedules. There's plenty of slots left. So I really do encourage people to do that. And one final point. Yes, PCF has put on some amazing events, but what has touched me most over the past few weeks is watching Joanne and PCF step in what I believe to be a really tremendous moment of need for our community. In one particular instance, we have a fan of the board and who we all know and love, but whose husband just got back from the hospital, who needed some support. PCF and Joanne was there doing that support, bringing things from the community there. I have run into family after family who are struggling right now. So if we could turn all of this energy we have in the community over the next few weeks as the holidays come together and really show whatever support we can for those most in need in our community, that's why we moved to Palisades. That's why we're doing what we're doing. So with that, I will ask for a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? We'll just keep talking. Watch everybody burst squirm. All right, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. Thank you. Good night, everybody, and please be safe.